Let's take a look at the big tech names, momentum names we also check all the time. The International Consumer Electronics Show kicks off next week in Las Vegas. Joining us now, Gary Shapiro, who's with the Consumer Technology Association, also author of the book Ninja Future. Gary, let's talk about trends because it feels like a whole lot of them out there. Which ones do you think will be the most prevalent?
Well, we're entering a new era. 5G technology will be very big at CES. We'll see the heads of AT&T and Verizon and others talking about this great technology. You know, every 10 years there's a new G. We're just going from 4G to 5G, and we're starting that transformation, and you'll see a lot in 2019, 2020 there. Also, the ingredient technology of the future is artificial intelligence. AI will not only have its separate area at CES, it will also be pervasive throughout the show. It's an ingredient technology for the future that will change our lives, keep us healthy, keep us safe in our cars, and do so much more for us in every aspect of our lives. And it's something where there's an international battle going on, and we think the U.S. is very, very well positioned because we have a good balance between privacy and sharing of information and data and a focus on technology. And if you want to see the future, you should focus on the chip companies. AMD is keynoting. We also have NVIDIA, Qualcomm, Intel. All the major chip companies are there, and they're the ones that really drive where we're going, how the technologies can be integrated, and you'll see it all at CES, and of course you'll see it in my book, Ninja Future.
Let's talk about this a little bit more than AI. Is this the part of the tech next leg or next evolution of technology that will really cause a lot of anxiety on Main Street? In other words, this is the part where you start taking away jobs from human beings. Isn't this the part that really is driving that?
Well, there's no question that there will be some anxiety, as there is with every new technology, from the car to the computer to even the credit card. And that's why we have to have a discussion about some of these things. But the fact is, in history, every new technology has taken some jobs away but created new ones, and it's raised the level. It's lengthened our lives. It's kept us healthier. It's allowed us to travel and communicate with people around the world. And it's made our lives better and gotten us a lot smarter. And it's really, we're no longer dying in our 20s. We're living to our 70s or 80s. And that's what technology is about. It's about progress. It's about improving the human condition. But we have to have discussions about it. We have to talk about jobs. We have to talk about privacy. And we have to talk about the appropriate role for government to put some guardrails on so everyone can play by the same set of rules and have a national standard, keep the U.S. competitive as we have these global battles going on. And that's what's really important as we move forward with AI and other technologies like self-driving, robotics, all these great things that we know will happen and basically keep us healthier and happier.
I'm trying to keep my inner King Lud, at bay, because I agree with everything you said. History has proven that out. It's just hard for a lot of people, including myself, to see where the jobs will be created. But history has proven that that's always been the case. Gary, I do want to ask you, you just alluded to it, about China trade and its impact on consumer tech.
Well, of course, China is very big. They have a history of taking some of our best ideas with unfair trade practices. But as they've gotten their own innovative companies, they've definitely gotten better. They're protecting intellectual property. They definitely want to see a trade deal the way we do. They recognize the way we do when we're feeling that these tariffs that the president imposed are taxes. Now, he's kept them at 10% for a few more months, but if they go to 25%, we'll see inflation, we'll see unemployment, we'll see something, not only a recession, but even worse than a recession. And that's why we have to cut a deal, the way we did with Mexico and Canada. It's necessary to preserve our stock market, but right now we're paying about $1 billion a month as an industry because of these tariffs, and that, of course, is affecting the American consumer and will raise prices in the future.
What's interesting about all of this is how China was able to supercharge its economy while still having double-digit, most favored nation tariffs against the rest of the world. So we know that all the economic books say tariffs are bad. How did they pull that off for so long to have massive tariffs of their own, massive protectionism, and to power up to the second largest economy in the world?
Well, they're the largest country, 1.4 billion people, and they are categorized as a developing country. I agree. It's time we look at that and we make it an even playing field between China and the U.S. and the rest of the world. We were pretty excited about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have helped do that. We were ready to gather with over a dozen countries and have a free trading zone. President Trump did kill that idea. I think he'd like to go back to it at some point. Maybe the Canadian-Mexican deal, the new NAFTA, will be the basis of that. But the thing is, China's ready to step up. They're getting more responsible every year. But it is a competition, and we have to do the best we can with our immigration and trade policy to make sure we win it.
Gary, I want to focus on your book, Ninja Future: Secrets to Success in the New World of Innovation. Tell us about it.
Well, basically, this is the second in the Ninja series that I've written. It focuses on the fact that everyone is dealing with this new world of technology. And to be really good at it, you have to act like a ninja. You have to be clever. You have to break through walls. And you have to understand the technology. It's aimed at ordinary people, business people, and even governments that want to thrive, because every company is a tech company. We see that at CES now. We'll have over 4,400 companies exhibiting there, the largest business event in the world, almost 2.9 million square feet of exhibit space. It'll be absolutely huge. And we'll see not only vertical electronics companies, we're seeing every type of company CEO there from around the world, because this is how business is done. You go across your vertical, you cut deals, and you have to be flexible and creative.
All right, Gary Shapiro. Sounds exciting. Appreciate it. Appreciate you spending the time with us, and Happy New Year. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Charles. Best to you.